Hey guys, welcome to the Nemesis Tactical YouTube channel, and in today's episode we're going to be doing the NAF Survival Guide. So the first thing we're going to go is please like and subscribe, it always helps, and check us out on our socials, which is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, obviously the YouTube channel. And
appease the algorithm.
Yes. Yeah, just appease the algorithm. So let's get straight into it. So we've been to NAF twice now. This will be my third year as of this August. You've been once, haven't you?
Yep, so this will be my second.
And we've noticed online there really isn't any sort of guides on what you should take, how to prepare, because it's a little bit like a festival, but also like a really long skirmish, sort of like a milsim, a very soft core milsim, because they've got that sort of large scale overnight play. So what we're going to cover in this video is the following: what you should take and basic advice. Stuff we've learnt the hard way, and hopefully we can pass said advice on and it helps you guys. So Dom, do you want to start?
Yeah, so before you even leave, get prepared the night before, pack everything up, double check again. Batteries, yes. BBs, all your essentials, just make sure you've got it. You think you've got it, just make sure, check, double check. The last thing you want to do when you get to there is go, I haven't got my rifle, and leave it behind at home. Yeah. I haven't done that. No. I'm sure someone probably
has.
Yes,
no doubt someone will have done something stupid like that before. So let's go with batteries to start. Now you're going to be playing for, well, you go there on the Friday and you sort of leave on the Monday. So you've realistically got about 2 good solid days of gameplay, plus there's the night game and whatnot. You're going to need to take enough batteries or air for your HPA gun or whatever you're running, gas, enough supplies to last you that amount of time. And if you haven't got enough batteries, take a charging facility. Like we run just a leisure battery, so like a car battery that's been spare. We charge that up and we've got an inverter which you just plug on to the positive and the negative, and it gives you 240 volt power that you can run chargers off, run your phone off. And it lasted us, there was 13 lads in total. We were charging phones, charging batteries, we had lighting in the tent, everything, and it didn't budge. So if you can and you're going with a bunch of mates, just invest in a big battery that you can charge off with an inverter. So what we're going to also do as we suggest parts, we'll probably at the end put like a list of what we recommend people take, and then you can just pause at that stage of the video and, if you like, print it off or just pick and choose what you want off that list. So we've covered batteries. Let's talk about guns next.
Guns. So how many guns do you realistically need? You don't need 4 or 5. No, I think
at least 2
to 3 at most. You know, you've got a backup, you've got your primary that you're going to use, and then if your mates go down, or you've always got a spare, but you don't need more than that. No, not really. And
don't stress if you've got a good primary and your secondary is a bit janky and it breaks. There is techs on site. I mean, we'll be attending. I'm obviously a tech. A few other prominent techs go, I'm sure, and 01 also have their sort of shop in the main bit, which has got a tech who will fix your gun on the day.
Or even if it's beyond repair, you've got plenty of opportunity to pick up another.
Yes, now that nicely leads us into the tent at NAF. Now 01 have the beer tent and the shop. So the shop does have rifles for sale, they have contactless card systems, etc. So if you've only got one gun and it does break and you're panicking, don't worry, if you've got enough money you can just buy another gun. Now there's not only new guns, there's plenty of second-hand stuff for sale. So if you can, take some cash. It really helps. Take a couple £100 if you can, even 80 quid, and you'll have enough to perhaps pick up a good deal on a second-hand gun that you might take your fancy.
Or even if you've managed to make it the whole weekend, people are looking to clear kit on the last day, you can get something for a little bit cheaper.
Someone's rifle might have broke and they don't want to bother with repairing it, you might be able to pick up a good deal. So we've covered batteries, what rifles you should take.
Yep. BBs, you always need BBs.
BBs.
Plenty of BBs.
Like we've said before, 01 have the shop. There's a few smaller stands and little sellers who do bits and bobs. We swear by Warhead Industries BBs, which we stock in the shop. Big shout out to Warhead. You've got really high quality BBs, I cannot fault them. And the price is on point as well. If you go directly to Warhead's website, you can buy in bulk. So if you and your mates all run, say, 2.5s or 2.8s or whatever, you can buy a bulk amount, which will give you the same price per bag as what the shops can buy in at normally. So it's well worth doing if you all club in and do it that way. Now, if it's just you and you just want to run whatever BBs, by all means, there'll be some on site when you get there in the main tent.
But take enough out with you. I mean, when you do go, don't just fill up your mags at a camp or in the safe zone. Take some out in field, because there's nothing worse when you're having a good skirm. There's plenty of respawn points in field to do this, or you can even do it in game.
Yeah, it's a big enough site. There's lots of people, but there's always a time where it's just you in the middle of nowhere. It's an enormous site, which neatly leads us on to the kit you want to take out for the games. So, it's normally hot that time of year, so I'd normally suggest like a micro chest rig, lightweight kit. You don't need to carry half your house on your chest. There is really no need. It's not like you'll see some skirmish players where they've got the body armour on, the helmet, the kit, they've got sandwiches in their pockets. And
absolutely, but that's what makes it interesting.
Yeah, by all means, if you want to, do it, but in the heat, I'd suggest a micro chest rig, a nice shooter's belt with the Velcro inner so it keeps some of the weight distributed, and a good quality backpack. In that backpack, you'll want a couple of bottles of water, because if it is hot, you need to stay hydrated. Second one will be BBs, or gas, or a spare air tank for your HPA, or whatever.
Or even a battery.
Yeah, or a couple of batteries in a battery bag. Just be prepared and take enough out where if you run out of BBs or you need water or a battery, you don't have to slog it all the way back to your tent. Because when you're out in the game zone, it is quite a walk. And on a hot day, it can weigh you down.
I mean, from where we camped last year, it was a good sort of 10 to 15 minute walk, depending how energetic we felt that day, to the entrance to the game zone from our camp at least. It's not just a quick nip back into the safe zone. Oh, I need to grab that and straight back out. It's, you want to utilise your time and get the most
out of your time. Now, let's move on to camping kit. This is the bit that people get a bit concerned about. I mean, there's a good friend of ours who's going for a first time with his mates and they've not sorted anything yet, and this is the main prompt for doing such a video like this. So obviously you're going to need a tent. Now, whether you do it as a one-man tent and you're camping your own stuff, or if you all, like we did in our group, Nemesis Tactical, there was 13 of us, we all chipped in for a great big whopping massive bell tent, a bit like a glamping tent, so it's a circular thing, pole in the middle. And that comfortably sleeps all 13 of us. We all chipped in. It was about, at the time, about 80 quid a head, I think it was. And now we have a wicked tent that we can use every year. Plenty of space, nice and secure because there's always someone back at the tent. It's nice and warm because there's lots of you in that room. So, because the nights can get cold. Now, that will lead us then on to your sleeping gear itself. So, I highly recommend, even if it's given to be really hot that year, get a good quality winter grade sleeping bag, because there is nothing worse than being cold for 2 or 3 nights and you're just suffering and you're not looking forward to the evening. So get yourself a good quality sleeping bag. I recommend a camp cot, so the fold out beds.
Yep.
And then like an insulation mat between you and the bed. You're no good with just the camp cot and the sleeping bag, because the air can flow around you and you'll be cold evenly then. So a good insulation mat on top of that, and a good sleeping bag and a pillow, and you're winning.
A couple of pillows.
A couple of pillows if you're feeling bougie.
You're spending a good bit of time there. You want to be comfy, don't you?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So,
I mean, what else did you have in the tent last year? You had a rug?
Yeah, we had carpets, because there's nothing worse than cold feet in the morning. We did go a bit overboard, admittedly. But, you know, we do it every year. It's a home away from home. We've got a big tent. We made a deal out of it. We also had the leisure battery, like we said. We'd set up the inverter, and some of our friends are electricians, fully scoped sparkies. So they'd done dimmable lighting on a dimmer switch. So you can rig that up, and in the evening we've got lighting in the tent that you can dim for in the evening or first thing in the morning. So it was really ideal for what we needed. Obviously you don't need to go that extreme. If it's your first time at NAF, you're not sure if you're going to enjoy it, a good tent that's big enough for a few of your mates to stay in will be better than smaller tents. Also, you can fit a camp cot in there, so you're up off the ground, insulation mat and a good sleeping bag and a pillow, so you're warm and comfortable. Now let's move on to how to stay clean, which is a festival thing.
Oh yes, I absolutely loved it last year.
Yeah.
I went all out and got myself a portable shower. So I've got a couple of them. It's just big, simple 5-litre bags. They heat up in the sun, so if it's a nice, warm, sunny day, after a long day of airsoft, there's nothing worse when you're stinky and sweaty, nice and clean, ready to go for the evening, and just repeat the whole process again.
Or if you're an absolute savage like me,
Yep.
wet wipes.
Wet wipes, you can use wet wipes.
Wet wipes, disinfectant wipes.
But they have got free water on site, so if you do fancy being a bit more clean than just wipes, you have that option.
You're at a festival, you're supposed to be smelly. Anyway.
No.
So, yeah, with your cleaning facilities, there isn't a shower at NAF, particularly. There's no shower facilities. So, if you're someone who wants to stay nice and clean, like Dom did, he got himself a shower and got that sort of set up, or plenty of wet wipes, plenty of disinfectant wipes. Now, disinfectant wipes are important because of the toilets. There's 3,000 people going to there with limited portaloos. You can imagine the devastation those toilets are like. It's abominable. They get cleaned twice a day. The marshals and the staff do a bang-up job of making sure people don't make a mess. But you can't prevent the utter stupidity of a crowd of 3,000 drunk people. So if you've got the time and the money, it's probably too late this year to do it, book a private toilet. Between you and your mates, all chip in, because say if there's 8 of you going, it soon works out to what you'd pay for a couple of pints at the pub. Just where you can keep your own toilet, it's going to stay nice and clean, and then you've got a more sanitary facility. Especially if you're like the ladies who go, they'll want a nice clean portaloo.
Yes, definitely.
So we've covered washing, we've covered sleep kits and a tent.
What else? Cooking.
Yes,
so
cooking.
What are you going to do for food at NAF? So you've got a couple of options. Obviously, you can cook your own. You can take some snacks. They've also got stalls there. If you're taking your own food, a good sort of barbecue might be a good shout.
Yeah, Scottlebry or something like that.
It's good to have a nice hot meal. Like I said, they do stalls there. The Greek meat being a favourite of ours.
Yeah, the Greek street meat is on point every year. Never failed to amaze me.
I would recommend go there. Just
Yes.
try it. Just try it for
Now-
lunch, breakfast, whatever.
You can get food readily for lunch and dinner there. I would highly recommend you take gas camping stove or something like that for breakfast, because you don't want to have to get up, trudge all the way to the thing, wait in a queue, get your breakfast, trudge all the way back. So if you can cook your own breakfast, take a cooler box so you can keep your meat or whatever you're eating for breakfast cool and dry, and then get yourself set up that way. Put some forethought into it. If you can, start shopping now or in a few weeks in advance. Don't leave it till the last minute and think I'll just pop the Tesco's on the way there, because you will come a cropper, you will forget something. Prepare ahead of time, because you're there for a few days. You need to be comfortable and, you know, well prepared in hand.
Yes.
So we've covered food, sleeping arrangements.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of kit. I mean, obviously, when you're going out in the field, you want good boots, good eye
Yeah,
pro.
good
That is a
boots.
must. Now, everyone should know this by now. You know, you don't go out with your AliExpress eye pro on. You get something quality rated. You know, that's the last thing you want is any boo-boos. Speaking of which, first aid kits.
Yes,
You've
first
got
aid
one of
kits.
those.
A little boo-boo kit is always helpful. Just plasters, maybe a bandage kit, just a very basic first aid kit. Maybe an eye wash thing, because it's quite dusty there.
Yep, can be a little bit. If you
But obviously there's loads of first aid trained marshals knocking about, but you, in the same breath, you're out in the sticks, it's just worth having. Even if you're in the tent and you're opening a pack of sausages and you cut your finger, you've got it on hand then, it's worth having.
It's often overlooked. You know,
Yeah,
people don't ever think about it unless you've got it in your car, which is a good shout. If you've got one in your car, you should be set.
Yeah.
So, you know, just always rely on that. What else? We've got to food, we've got to kits.
Let's talk about the temperature difference. So the first year you came, which was last year,
Yep.
it was warm,
Very warm.
consistently warm.
Yes.
Now the first year I went and the rest of the boys went, we had the Arctic blast that came through. It was horrendously cold in the nights and lovely and warm in the days. So in a direct comparison, we're talking shorts and almost like a vest. It was so hot during the day. And at nights we had all the kit on, the sleeping bags, the heaters were on, full bore, as hot as possible, we were still shivering. And this is why I emphasise, take cold weather gear, and then if you are too hot, you can just unzip your sleeping bag, and it's easy to work around. It's easier to take layers off than not have layers to put on in the first place. So be prepared for cold, and then if it is cold, at least you're going to be comfortable. And if it's hot, doesn't matter, you've just got some spare kit. So that's the temperatures covered. Spare clothes.
Yes, I mean you're playing for 2 days and maybe one evening if you get there on the Friday. How many sets of kit do you need?
Trousers, I didn't find you needed any more than one pair, maybe a pair of shorts and some trousers. So at least if it is really hot, you can drop into your shorts.
Yep.
You want some normal clothes to knock about in the festival sort of area. So maybe some sandals or whatever if it is really hot and you want to just stay nice and cool.
Yeah, it's comfortable. At night, maybe. Yeah, some of us had dressing gowns, some of us just.
Yes, I brought the moccasins and a dressing gown because you've got to be comfy and just stay classy.
Yeah, stay classy indeed.
But anyway, now if you're an utter degenerate like our friend Harry and you happen to trust a fart, bring spare pants.
Yeah.
It's necessary. Not for all of us, but for some of us.
Spare underwear, spare socks.
Spare socks.
Feet, you know, you've only got one set. You want a good quality pair of socks.
Yeah, good quality pair of socks. Couple of pairs of them.
Yeah, at least.
Now, one thing we'd recommend when you get back and you change out your socks, peg them up somewhere so they dry out overnight, because you don't want to be putting wet socks into wet boots. Bad idea. And I do have a funny feeling it's going to rain this year at NAF.
Got that vibe to it.
It's been a rainy year thus far, so I'm expecting it to possibly be rainy, so bring wet weather gear. Even if it's just a raincoat, and you know, prepare with some good shorts, good trousers that are waterproof, or even a spare pair and some waterproof boots. Now, is there anything else you can think of?
Kit wise, no. I think we've covered it all. We've gone through cash, we've gone through our equipment that we might need, food, clothing we've looked at. The only other thing is keeping in touch with your mates. I mean, it's a big site. You're not going to know where all your friends are at any one point. You won't, plain and simple.
No.
You will get lost.
It's a huge site. If you get separated from your mates. Now, how the game tends to work is if you get shot, you go to a regen point. Now, these set locations across the NAF play zone where you can walk to, you wait for 5 minutes, you're back in the game, then you go find your group again. If you don't have radios or you don't have a map on you,
and you don't know that site,
and you don't know the site, have fun trying to find them again. So there's a couple of options you can have. You either get radios and look at your maps and familiarise the respawn points with your mates, perhaps number them, so you can say I'm at respawn point 2 and you can all meet back up. Or if you can't afford the radios and all that sort of stuff, just say to your mates, if I get separated from you, I'll meet you at lunchtime at the beer tent or meet you back at the tent. You can link back up.
At some point. You know, you might run into them again. Sometimes you get lucky, but unless you find over a position like the village, that was quite a focal point last year.
Yeah.
So you tend to find people sort of floating around, and when you've got 3 teams of basically 1,000 people at once, sometimes you're not really getting very far very quick.
Yeah.
So you might get lucky, but don't be afraid. You know, you just link up with whoever's there. There's some crazy people out there, and they're absolutely hilarious to
yeah, it's good fun. Most of the people there are friendly. I've not met an unpleasant person yet.
No.
And
that's
you should be
part
fine.
of it. That's part of the parcel. Is that mix of people.
Well, you're meeting new folks. You're getting yourself out there. It's very much got the vibe of a music festival, but with airsoft intertwined. So, you know, not that I'd recommend it, but you could go play for the morning, get bored, and start drinking and just have fun. It's one of the better places I've been to for just enjoying your day. You don't always just go for the gameplay. You go in for the festival, sort of
for the vibes.
For the vibes of it all.
And that's what a lot of people always say is, you know, you've got X% is gameplay, you know, 30% and 70% is the atmosphere, it's the vibes, the people you meet, because there will be, you know, pseudo airsoft celebrities there and certain kit customs, and it's a good way to sort of meet and network, and you know, if you're a particular follower of one person, they might pop up there, you might get a chance to say hello, you know, if they don't come to your local site or whatever. So there's lots of things for everyone. I will say, don't go in with an open mindset. Don't go in expecting some hardcore gameplay, because you'll just walk away disappointed, I think.
Yeah, it's not a super serious mil sim where Delta are all running nods and all the latest kit, and where the others are just a ragtag thing and it's super regimented. Yes, there's a rough gameplay
There's an idea
structure, there's an idea behind it, but don't worry too much.
Just have fun. That's what it's supposed to be.
Treat it like a long, over a few days, just a skirmish day, and just enjoy the camping and the beers with your mates. It's one of the best the best places to go to play airsoft and have fun in the year. It's like the central focus point of our year as a group to go to NAF, because we have so much fun there. So don't go thinking it's going to be super serious and you're not going to enjoy it, because trust me, you will. And if you're going on your own, don't be afraid to make friends with a group and just
talk to people. You don't have to, but there's people have been posting on the UK forums that we then see there. So last year it was a guy posting roadie kit up, and it happened to be there in this chrono line. We've all gone, right, this person's been wearing this. We've actually seen him online, and it turned out he's a really chill guy.
Yeah,
it's just nice. You've got that sort of almost, it's like I know you, but I don't actually know you, and you've got that thing in common. It's not where you go to one place and go, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. You're all there for one reason, because you like messing around with toy guns. In other words, thinking we look cool when we look absolutely bussing.
Yeah, bussing, retarded and bussing.
Retarded and bussing. Can we say that?
Probably not.
Probably not, no.
Greg, you'll have to possibly edit it. Well, we'll see who edits it. Someone's going to have to edit that out.
Someone's going to edit that out. Yeah. That's nice. You don't, that one rule in airsoft is don't be...
a dick.
A dick. Yeah, I don't know if we say that one or not. But anyway, yeah, don't be a dick, don't, because it just ruins the vibe for everyone. As soon as you start cheek calling and that kind of thing, it spreads like wildfire in your own sites. You see it. One team gets mardy, the next one will follow, and they just avoid it. If they're not calling the hits, just go shoot someone else. You've got 999 other players you can go pick on. Just go pick someone. Off you go. Don't stress about it, and that's what it is.
And if you're thinking, oh, this game's crap, I'm going to go back to the tent, but you still want to play, you've just given up. Just find a different area. It's a huge site, 3,000 players, there's going to be other play zones. Just go and try somewhere else. Say to your mates, let's not bother playing here. Let's look on the map, we'll go over there and we'll have an hour over there. And you might find it's a completely different day. I far prefer the right-hand side of the game site. I don't know if you really check that out. It's more the open woodland area. I
didn't get to explore that much. Unfortunately, I had a couple of unfortunate circumstances, but I didn't let that put me off. And the small period of time I did get actually out on the field, I enjoyed it. But it was quite, some bits of it were quite dense, that rhododendron kind of built-up area.
I'm not super keen on the rhododendron areas, because you've got 3,000 players in rhododendron areas that have been sort of cut into tunnels, and it's just a shit show.
But it's funny.
It's a funny shit show, but it's a shit show. I prefer the more open areas where you can see what's coming, you can avoid the big groups and push and have a bit more of a tactical and fun time. So if you can, get involved in the team leaders' game plans, because they'll have a marshal who's like the team leader for Bravo or Delta or the others, and they'll set out particular missions for that few hours of gameplay. And if you and your team are competent enough and fancy taking it on, you can go and try and do that, and it makes the gameplay 10 times more fun. Now let's move on to night games. Now there is a night game.
Yep, there's two, isn't there?
I never play them because I'm not going to lie, I'm normally too drunk. But
on the Friday you've got pistols and shotguns.
Yeah.
So that's just a warm up and mess around, for people who just want a bit of a gameplay. They might have got there early in the day, which is something we'd advise you do, is get there as early as you can. Obviously they open up at a set time. If you rock up at 5 o'clock, don't be annoyed that you're going to have to park all the way at the end of the field to get camping set up, which might be in a quiet area, but aim for a sensible time. The people will be there first doors.
Now, on the note of the night game, I advise you at least take a few torches and some head torches, because there's no lighting in the campground. There's just the ambient light off other people's kit and tents and whatnot. So if you haven't got the money to buy a lighting setup for around your tent, just get a couple of head torches, rifle torches, whatever. Greg just knocked the camera. We can edit that. This is
going well.
Yes, edits, yes. Yeah, get a couple of torches and just make sure you can see where you're going, because the portaloos are in rows. So there's like 5 or 6 lined up, and they're not going to be next to your tent, and I wouldn't advise camping near them. They smell.
Yes.
And as Dom said, they are not bussing.
They're the opposite. My disposition is not strong at the best of times, so yeah, I can't be doing that.
No.
Anyway, back to the night game. So the night games, what would you take?
So a couple of torches at minimum, tracer units and some BBs for fun. If you've got night vision, take your night vision. It's a good time. There's a bit of an advantage because not many people have it, but it's still good fun.
adds to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it adds to it, and it's you can get some wicked pictures. There's a really, really gorgeous stately home at the back of the campground. So it's an if you say the influencers who might perhaps watch this video, it's a good backdrop for some content for your posting. So you can get the, get your nods on, get your kit on, stand by the stately home at the bottom of the hill, get some nice pictures. It looks good.
Very regal.
Yes, very posh. But anyway, so we've covered the night game, we've covered the rough camping setup.
We've got night game on Saturday as well, don't we? So that goes on a bit later. That's not just pistols and shotgun, that's more of a follow-on from the day, isn't it? Yeah. Now, the night game for the pistols and shotguns, you might need nods, you might not. It's just a mess around, so don't take that seriously. Just go out there and have fun and just be mental. Yes. Now, the most important bit, which we haven't covered yet, is hydration other than water. Oh yes, so we have the ale, the wine. The wine. Whiskey, whatever's your flavour, just take some stuff with you. Yeah. Because the beer tent's good, it's reasonably priced. Yep. But there is a queue as long as your arm. It's a long arse queue. And there's no limits on what you can take. No. What did we take last week? We took 2 kegs. Thankfully we have a brewery opposite our workshop. It's the shout out, it's the Bentley Brook Brewery in Lower Lumsdale in Matlock, a really good brewery. I'm good mates with the owner, he's a nice bloke. He sorted us out with 2 kegs that we tapped on site, left them in the back of the van, so we had 100 and something pints between the group of us, which on demand. Yeah. On demand. If you can do something like that, by all means. If not, just take a couple of crates. Yeah. So if you can't be asked to walk to the beer tent, at least you've got them on hand. Yeah. And you'll get through them, and if not, your mates will. So yeah, someone will find a way to drink it, I'm sure. Absolutely. So we've just arrived at NAF. How did you find checking in? Dead easy. Any tips or tricks you use that? The sooner you get the checking in and the chrono and all that stuff out the way, the better. Because then you've not got to. Yeah, we'll cover that in a sec. The checking in is really simple. Make sure you've got your email with your player number, I think it was. Yeah, or just got it on your phone, whatever, have a screenshot of it. Don't try and get it on the internet, because it's, The internet is a bit touchy, so I'd just advise screenshotting it on your phone, get it ready, so you can just go, there you go, that's my player ID, they'll give you your tag and all that sort of stuff for your away. Quite quick. It's quite efficient. Yeah, they've got it well toned down. This year we've booked a toilet, so obviously you'll have to go off and get your toilet separately and take it to your campsite. Or wherever you're set up. That's just one thing you're going to have to do. Yep. So if you book a toilet, just be prepared. One of you is going to have to sacrifice a bit of time, but once it's there, it's worth it. Yeah. Now let's cover the chrono. So make sure, if you're going to the chrono, whether you only run high caps or mid caps or whatever, go to the chrono queue with an empty mag, because they'll insist you go with an empty mag, and they speed load some 2s in there. So when you approach the chrono station, you can use just 2s, and they can see quite clearly who's chronoing at what. So don't be surprised if you go with a sniper rifle with 4 8s in the mags, and the marshal plucks it out and goes zzz, empties it out and goes, right, I'll fill that with 2s now, and you've just wasted a mag of 4 8s. It's your fault, you've now been warned. Yeah, don't let that happen. Yeah, don't let that happen, like it happened to us. We weren't annoyed, it's just one of them things. I think people should be forewarned. So, yeah. So if you have a drum mag, find a low cap or a mid cap, borrow one of your mates, someone might have one. Unless you're getting a free load of BBs, that's fine. Yeah. So, just that border warning, yeah, the chrono queue, at the peak times, I think I was in it for almost 40 minutes, maybe something like that. The sooner you get there, the better. So get there, leave your stuff in the car before you set up the tent or anything else, go sign in. If you can, quickly go chrono. If not, tent set up, go back to chrono. Just get it all out of the way. Get all the administrative stuff that needs to be done for the weekend out of the way first and foremost. Beat the queues, and just enjoy the rest of your weekend, relax that way. But there will be opportunity on the Saturday and even the Sunday throughout the whole event if you need to re-chrono a gun or chrono a gun that you haven't taken out, whatever. The chrono is still open. Come Saturday afternoon, that queue's much lesser, because majority of players are already out in the field. They will tag your guns, so if you like collecting cable ties on your guns, you're going to have those cut off. Some people do. I got quite upset because I had a good sex on mine. Yes, you're a heathen. Anyway, so, right, we're going to pause quickly.
And we're back. Sorry, we just had to review our list of things we might have missed.
It's quite a list.
Yeah, it's quite a list.
Not a big list of the things we have. So
one of the things we missed is toilet paper. Take toilet paper, for God's sake, take a big pack of toilet paper, because if you go, they are not providing toilet paper. You don't want to be 3 days. Well, I don't need to go further into it, but you'll understand. Dustpan and brush. It sounds really stupid. There's a lot of dry grass, a lot of mud, or a lot of dirt, dust, etc. You're going to want to clean your tent out when you're done. Just a quick sweep, it helps.
Other amenities, so you got camp, table-wise?
Yeah, camping table helps, so when you're cooking, you've got somewhere to set your stuff out. They do insist you have a fire pit above the ground at minimum. Yes, Greg's just pointed out suntan lotion, that helps.
Lube, no Greg, no lube.
No lube. Greg, calm down. And yes, Greg's saying he wants a body pillow.
No, you can have a body pillow if you want, Greg. I mean, we don't judge here.
No, we only judge Greg. So we've covered a dustpan and brush and a table. So when you're cooking, setting your breakfast out, whatever, you can put your gas stove on there and, you know, clean up a bit of cutlery if you want and some paper plates. Yep. Now, fire pits. If you've got a fire pit, even if it's just a washing machine drum, something like that, they insist it's raised up off the ground by so much height. So bring something like a fire pit with some breeze blocks so you can just get it up off the ground. Now, there's a few other bits in the advice side.
Yeah, I mean, looking back to toilets, just treat them with a respect.
Yeah, it's bad enough as it is.
You know,
at least
if you can't aim, sit down. Have a piss, sit down, no one's going to watch you. They really don't care, but just don't treat them like you would at a service station. There's nothing worse because
it's pretty gropping.
Just clean apart, and if you do, just clean apart yourself. It's not difficult. Take wet wipes, tissue, whatever. Don't scrub them. Don't ask them to do that. But just be nice, be courteous to other people. Yeah, it's not difficult. You have to follow to them. And the other option was to book an extra day. So you can book, normally it's from the Friday to the Sunday. You have an option to book on for Monday as well. There's no games Monday. Stalls are still there, but they tend to be winding down. But that gives you a bit of chill time after you play Sunday, after they've had the main event, and you know, the big quiz as well, lots of drinking in the evening. You've got Monday to kind of get yourself together. You not have to be out straight away, but you've got that flexibility, and that just takes a bit of pressure off yourself, because then you're not trying to rush everything, and you can actually enjoy the whole event. So we would say book on the extra day. It's worth it for what, 10 or 15 quid it was, or whatever it might be next year. If you're missing it now, book on early. That was the other thing.
Yes, book on it in plenty. As soon as the booking's open,
book on.
Book on.
Don't wait, just book.
And book the extra toilet straight away. Don't say I'll leave it, because you'll miss out on it, I guarantee. And if you can, book the extra day, because I've no doubt you don't want to be driving a long distance hungover. You don't want to be driving full stop hungover.
And you shouldn't, that's naughty.
Where we are in Derbyshire, it's a fair drive. So with the Monday booked off, you can spend the morning having some food, sobering up, etc. Try not to drink too much the Sunday night, and just have a steady drive back, and don't make a tit of yourself by drink driving. That's all I'm going to say. You know, be responsible. So, have we missed anything?
In a big group?
Yes, group meetup.
Luckily, we're reasonably all semi-local, you know, Derbyshire, Nottinghamshire, you know, that sort of area. If you're planning on coming further afield, try to all link up at one point, if you can, before you get there. Just so when you do arrive, you're all going to be camping together. It just helps to set
you can arrive at the same time, find the same camping spot.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got a decent enough house or something, you could perhaps invite your mates around the night before to stay over, and make sure that all the kit's sorted out and loaded up the night before. So you can all set off at the same time. You can have a bit of a laugh and a joke the night before you go, and it's just a bit easier that way. Or find like a local Mackey's or something like that you can meet up for a breakfast in the morning. I advise you drive down there early so you can get there at a reasonable time to set the tent up. So say find a McDonald's or whatever, a Costa Coffee, whatever you want to go to. Have something to eat, discuss the plan, set your sat-navs up, etc., and then set off from there.
Yeah, no, that'll make life easier. But you know, you've all link up with your mates if you don't camp with them.
Yeah.
I think that about covers it. Is there anything you would do different last year than you're planning on doing different this year? What did you learn last year? I learned that I didn't need 5 guns.
No.
Two. And I took that away with me.
I should have brought more camping chairs for the lads. because we didn't quite have enough, so we had to use these little camping stools, a little bit of an irritant. If you've got a gazebo, set up a gazebo next to your tent so you've got somewhere dry and out the sun. A nice social area to sit under in the evening. If you've got that sort of money to put towards it. If you don't, then it is what it is, but it just helps. The more established you've got your campground, the better.
Oh yeah, I mean there's people that turn up with paddling pools, so yeah, that's one thing to look forward to on the way. They'll be there again this year. The same people with the paddling pool, they're giving out shots of tequila at 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning.
Yes.
Great, very, very sensible.
It's good.
Yes.
So I think we've just about covered the NAF Survival Guide as such. Now, I know it's a bit rough and it's a bit sort of just our advice, but if you have any questions or you have any concerns about what to expect at NAF, and just put it in the comments, we will respond to the comments, we always check them. And if you guys, ask enough questions, we'll make another video to cover those topics. So just let us know what your thoughts are in the chat. And like I've said at the start of the video, like and subscribe, follow us on our social medias. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next episode, chaps.
We will, and we will be doing an after NAF report as well. There'll be plenty of content coming through.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of content. We'll be doing a bit of gameplay at NAF.
We'll have a bit of reflection as well of how our advice went from this video and what we actually didn't do or forgot, or how that implemented, or if we over-prepared or under-prepared.
Yeah. All right.
See you in the next one, guys.
Cheers, chaps.
Cheers.